Hey, good morning. It is Friday, and I have
Hey there.
Joe with me. It is another one of those days.
Another technology issue.
But you know what? We made it through the week.
We're here. That's important, right?
And we are glad that you are here along with us.
There we go. Get all cozy.
You know, it's interesting because you set up the tech last night.
Yeah.
There
I
you
have
go.
to get closer. Yeah. Just get a little closer now. Except what the CDC says. Don't get closer.
Oh, dear. Not that again.
Okay, we won't go there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're here with us. I hope that you had a good week. And
Say hi.
yes, please say hi. We love that when you say hi and good morning.
I'm going to share this out, so go ahead and
Okay.
do the introduction.
All right. Well, as usual, Joe has come up with yet another way to challenge me. I love the questions that he has for me. It's always fun to see what he's doing and what he's thinking about and how we can up-level our thinking. So last night I was leaving work. I was having a discussion with somebody and we were talking about neighborhoods and where people want to be and what it's like. It's very interesting in this area because there's a lot of different pockets of people and yet they intersperse. And so I think that conversation, it's just interesting how one conversation always leads into yet another conversation. And when I came home last night, then Joe was asking me this question. And I'm going to let him introduce it to you today.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
You're going to have to...
I have to rush, quick. Yeah, rush. Thanks for the warm-up there, Lisa.
You're welcome. I thought you were finished.
Oh,
I see.
okay. So, again, this is Win Every Day, Mark Miller. Okay, got it? Whoa, there we go. There we go. Every Day, Mark Miller. His new book just came out this week, and we're gonna take a question that he poses. Actually, I think two questions that he poses in the book, but do our own thoughts into it because I think they're worthwhile, and we want you to read the book because it's a good aspect to talk about performance and some of the aspects, especially focusing on who you are. Yeah.
If you haven't read Mark Miller, just kind of a little plug here.
Yeah. Not so much plug, just background.
Background, okay, fine. What I like about Mark Miller, what I really appreciate about Mark, is that he doesn't just write this nonfiction work and just kind of give a bunch of info. He is telling us a fable, and he kind of weaves the lessons in through a story. And I really believe that we learn well through stories. So that's what I like about him. And
it's based on research, and it's just not a fable made up. It's based on actual research and thousands of interviews and insights that he's gotten from people across America and the world.
Yeah.
So the question is, are you good enough? Yeah. Are you good enough?
What is good?
Well, that's great. I could say, "Hey, Lisa, how's it going?"
And I could say, "Good."
Good. What's good? I don't know, but it's good.
Well, we'd like to give that pat answer of good.
Yeah.
Here in America, we just kind of like to gloss things over a bit. But what is good? What does it really mean when we say we're good?
Yeah.
How do we
sometimes
that?
You could come back with a thought that I'm not good enough, or I'm glad to be here. I don't deserve it. Some answer to be humble, maybe, or just say, "Oh, I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm audacious. I'm whatever."
Or you could be like my grandma.
Yeah.
in her later years, it'd say, "How are you doing, Grandma?" And she would say, I'm good, but we all lie a little bit.
Well, that's like, she must be watching House, MD.
Yeah.
Greg
Maybe.
House on the show would say everybody lies. You know,
but we want to be good. We want to put on that facade that we're doing well. We want to, I think that we have this innate desire to move forward, and that desire to be better than who we are.
And we just say good, or we say, we'll say something, but we'll also, we'll catch ourselves doing this too, that we'll just say, well, I'm really good. And, well, what's really good? Well, the really good was, something really great happened, or something, fantastic happened in the day, and you're happy and you're feeling great, and, or it's good, man. Everything's lovely and good. But sometimes if we look at the people around us, and we evaluate, how are we basing that good? If we're actually taking the moment and saying, evaluating this, because we evaluate ourselves throughout the day. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling bad, I feel an ache. Lisa's got an ache in her back.
That's a true story.
A true story this morning. She's all locked up. So, but the point here is, we're comparing ourselves, or we're making a comparison out there, and then what's backing that up? And sometimes we find ourselves, especially in business, we'll say, oh, we're doing great. We're doing, well, great to what? Okay, who's our competitors, or who's in the same space that we're operating? Maybe not so much competition, but who are other players in that market space? And how do you know you're good, or you're rated good? So in the book, just a quick example, the company, the central company in the book looks at and says, well, based on third-party estimates, because we can't get everybody's information because it's private, we're the best. We beat everybody else. Well, what is everybody else? Well, if you really looked at it, everybody else in their competitors were mediocre. So they were the best of mediocre. And then we say we're good. And we got a great reputation. And, so look at that in your family. Look at that in your business team, in your other things that you go through throughout the day. Go to the store. So, are we good enough is really a bad measure, or is a thing that's saying, oh, there's room for improvement. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, I see people popping in. Hey, it's Friday morning show. And we're talking about good enough. And Lisa, did you get all those emails yesterday or over the last couple of days telling about what they're doing for the illness, for how to handle what they're going to do in the stores and such?
Well, I think that's a really great point, because when we got all those emails, it's like, yeah, we've been doing these things, and the same is true for the studio, even where I work at, it's like, we do these things, but we're stepping it up.
Yeah.
And I think once our awareness increases of what good is, all of a sudden we realize that we could be better. I remember when I was young taking piano lessons, and I would hear a lot of times, oh, you're good. And you begin to believe that. And it came easily for me at different points, in those lessons. And I remember at one point I was just ready to be finished. I didn't really have a reason why. So I quit my lessons, and then my sisters continued their lessons. And my sister Dawn, she started to catch up to the level where I was. And all of a sudden, that question of, or am I good? I could see that in a different light, because all of a sudden now my sister's getting better than me. And guess what? My measure of good was not any longer good enough. So, it's a shift in our awareness.
Well, it was good enough, but it wasn't your best.
Right.
And I think that's the point. When we're talking about good enough, it's saying we're not doing our best. we're not putting our best out every day.
And it challenged me though to rise up and realize that I can be better. There's a lot of room for improvement. And to be perfectly honest, now that I'm in the industry, I can see that there's really always room for improvement. No matter where we're at in life, there's always room for improvement. And I think it brings us back to a question of, are we being congruent? Are we living in congruence with where we actually want to be?
Yeah. So right now, my best would have had this backdrop of a microphone on stage and talking about our performance. In essence, it was a picture to think into. Is it my performance? So I got to look at my notes here. Is my level of performance congruent with who I am? So when I saw that question, I was thinking about, what do I do during the day, and how do I know that I'm performing at my best? Well, there's a couple things that you can think about, and one is, am I doing things to focus on to get to mastery? So, like you said, with your piano lessons, am I doing the things day in, day out to promote being fluent in music, being fluent in playing theory, and understanding how to read all those crazy symbols that are, objects on the screen there on the sheet with all those bars and clefs and whatever. And get the right speed, right cadence and all that. So is my level of performance? So that's question one of this idea of performance is, am I at the level of performance necessary with who I am right now? And then the follow-up is my level of performance going to meet who I want to be, who I want to become?
I think a lot of times, as you say that, one of the things that came to my mind is, are you a human being or are you a human doing? And,
human doing. Wow.
A lot of times we're that human doing. We're just out there doing, and we're not really growing into our awareness. We're not living into that person that we want to become. We're not being present and raising the bar for ourselves. We're just doing rather than actually being.
Yeah. So if we take it back to what we just talked about with the emails, you can see, if you read those, they were doing. Mm-hmm. They had some level of doing, of sanitation, of cleaning things, but they weren't becoming the best. They felt that, in the underlying text, it wasn't as big of a thing as getting out the product. So are we focusing on execution, and we're accepting 7 out of 100 items that don't go right? So if, obviously in a company that's producing, manufacturing, or distributing, there's a match up to orders, right? But in our own day, how many errors and omissions do we have in the things that we're doing? So if it's a report, how many times do we have to go back and change it? And do we just let it go? Or do we fix it right away? Or do we wait for somebody to say, oh, you made a mistake, check their work, right? And is that what we want?
Right.
Okay.
So I
gotta low down.
I think that there are some tips and tricks, little ways that...
Too much coffee already this morning.
I think there are some tips and tricks and ways that we can move forward.
Yeah.
And we can improve who we are at. Who talks like this? But there's ways that we can improve where we're at and the things that we're doing to get on this path of living into who we were created to be.
Don't you just love Love live? Trying to get your thoughts out?
I do. It is challenging sometimes. I'll give you that.
So this Friday morning show gets better if you go back and watch several episodes ago. We've improved. At least we've been told we improve, and we're a little more friendly. Lisa tells me I'm doing a little better job of being myself instead of the stiffness.
We can actually converse instead of letting you go
talk for hours.
Yeah, there you go. So I think for me, one of my favorite ways to live into that is by having checkpoints.
Yeah,
having checkpoints. We've talked about it as a nighttime reflection, but I think having that checkpoint throughout the day, maybe at the end of the morning or in the mid-afternoon, checkpoints that say, hey, what were my goals for the day? What is my goal for the week? Break it down how you want to, whatever works best for you, and say, am I taking the steps necessary to get there? And saying, I did this well, but I can improve on that.
Is that a long process, Lisa? Because, we got a lot of things to do during the day. We don't have time for stopping and doing checkpoints throughout the day.
I think it is what you make it. I think it can be a really quick 1 or 2 minute activity, or I think it could be, time where you think deeper into it. So midday checkpoints, I think, are quick.
I think you can be faster than a minute. If you're doing this right, if you have your goals in mind.
Mm-hmm. He's wondering if he's on camera.
No, I'm not. Somebody keeps pushing me over. No, if you have your goals in mind, you know where you're tracking, so you can. It's only a few seconds. It only takes a few seconds. So think about it that way.
We do think quick. That
I mean,
sense.
you do a lot of thought. So if you just be intentional about the thought, right? And then, so is that, who you want to become? So if we want to become the best at work because we want the next level in the job, we want more responsibility or a higher level of pay, what are we doing to eliminate the errors? What are we looking at to get more masterful in what we do? And as a result, we will move away from, are we good enough, or good as good gets?
Yeah.
Right. Good is okay. We don't need to go beyond good. We can move to best. As a goal, not an expectation, but a goal that we always will strive to be our best.
We're called to excellence, so I think that's a good goal.
And it's not like we're not doing that every day. We're not striving to be our best, not be our best.
Right? I think a lot of times it's really easy to slip into this pattern of
that's
routine.
A good point.
And when we slip into that pattern of routine, then we aren't necessarily doing our best. We're just, that human doing.
Yeah. Doing, instead of becoming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lead the way.
So what would you suggest that we do? What would your tips for our success be?
I think we talked about today really just focusing in on where we want to go. What do we want to accomplish? And is there one area in our life that we're focusing and doing everything? Maybe it's at work. We're working to be, do the job or be the job, or be the role, or, whatever the responsibilities.
So an end point in mind.
End point in mind. That's you're working towards your best and delivering that and taking pride or taking accountability, taking steps to deliver on that every day and saying, okay, where am I? Am I slipping anywhere? Am I getting comfortable with just doing what I did yesterday? I did that many times, I can only innovate so many times.
Yeah.
Right.
That comfort zone is easy to slip back into.
Yeah, especially as I get tapped on the backside here. Just kidding.
Hey,
comfort.
If I did that, I didn't know I did that.
Comfort.
Sorry. So
So have that goal in mind as to what you want to accomplish. What do you stand for?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much, well, I come into work and I pour my coffee and I kick on the computer and I answer the emails and I, do this, do that, and check out at the end of the day. It's like, how do you deliver? What's the attitude? What's the mindset you come in? And every day, we have challenges, whatever happened coming up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do a check-in on our mindset as we go through the day. And again, it doesn't take much. Just pause for 5 seconds, 3 seconds. Oh, okay, and reapproach it.
Yeah, I think that's a really great thing, because it's easy to grab those moments of, it's not going so well, and let it bog us down. But then when we stop and we do that quick little reflection, we see the positive light in things. And all of a sudden, when we've been running up against that wall, and who doesn't run up against a wall every once in a while at work, but, we begin to see other avenues, directions that we can take that make things better.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure, that sounds great. That's a good place to bring this plane into land, so people can get on to their workday.
Absolutely.
Or whenever they're watching, put #replay. We'd like to hear from you. What do you want to become? Or what are you aiming for? What's your best? And how do you know?
Ooh, those would be hard questions to answer on a live.
Well, you can put them in the text if you're watching.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But that's like a lot of out there information. But
just cut it down. Give me the 1 second.
A little skinny of what helps you to win. Give me
3 words that explain your best.
Larry Cockrell, good morning.
Hi, Larry.
Woo!
We're gonna wave to you.
Woo! It's interesting because we can see the numbers change, and what we've discovered is that the numbers that we see on this screen aren't necessarily the numbers that somebody else who's watching sees on their screen. It's kind of cool, but we don't always see the names that come across. So if we haven't said good morning, if you're here watching and we haven't recognized you by name,
are you watching on a replay?
It just happens that we don't see that name. So
sure, leave a comment.
Welcome.
Yeah, wish us a good weekend.
So we're hoping to help you to win every day. The big tips, I suppose, would really be growing in your awareness, thinking about not just doing but being, and knowing that having a plan on exactly where we want to go.
Yes.
Being open to change, reevaluating and reassessing that through the day, and giving yourself credit for the wins, and looking for ways that we can improve. That little 1% improvement that we can make makes a tremendous difference. It's great.
And if you're doing that, then start helping the people around you do that. And your performance, the team performance, the organization will benefit. Whether it's your family, whether it's the actual workplace, whether it's community, whether it's the people to get together for a study of any kind, or just a conversation across the back fence.
And I talked about that earlier this week too. Recognizing people for their differences, realizing that they might drive you nuts for one reason or another, but they have strengths that you don't have. So looking for their strengths and looking to build them up in those things too, I think really add toward those little small percentages of improvement.
Yep.
So
bye.
That was a little creepy. But anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. We have a crazy busy weekend ahead of us. Looking forward to it because we've got some challenging things to face. Fun, challenging things that we're going through, and you'll soon see. But looking to help you excel as you go through your days, helping you to color your future bright, live that adventure you dream, and really hoping that you can win every day, at least feel like you're winning every day.
Winning every day. You can read this in like 3 hours. You can really do that. It's like super fast read.
It is. It's a super fast read, but you can also take it to a deeper level. And that's what I love about...
There it is. Excel at execution.
Thanks.
Yeah.
What I love about it is that we can read it quickly, but we can challenge each other. We can question, coach each other through it. And you can do that at home. You can reach out to us. We're happy to help you and coach you through it too, because there are some tremendous questions in that book to really help you up level.
And I get nothing for promoting that book or sharing it. It's a good book, and I bring it out. I bring it out to you, Lisa, and your viewers and people that I talk with, the books that I read that are thought-provoking or help us accomplish something greater for mindset success.
Thank you.
You bet.
And thanks for being with us once again today.
Yay! Friday morning show. You got to come up with a theme song.
Thank you guys for joining us as well. Look forward to connecting with you throughout the weekend, and I'll look forward to joining you again live on Monday morning.
All right.
So have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.